Yeah. All right, it's time to get into this. We are getting into the Taya Adams, who is now again coming out to talk about her experience with Judge Kevin Mullins. Here we go.
Okay, let's talk about Letcher County, Kentucky. There are many, many, many atrocities that have happened to the people here by the court system, by the authorities. Everything from sex trafficking, extortion, prison for profit, embezzlement. I mean, you name it, it's going on in our courthouse. I want to share with you what happened to me, how I went to prison, and how I'm still dealing with it. And then in future videos, we will go into the details of the other things as well. But, okay, here goes. In 2015, I got in trouble for trafficking Suboxone. Trafficking one Suboxone strip. Went to jail. I was there for about 6 months. They also charged me with child support what time I was there as well, for arrears because, you know, I didn't have custody of my oldest daughter. And yeah, I have child support. Anyway, so I go to jail. I'm there for like 6 months. That place is a dungeon, first of all. There's black mold everywhere, disease. The showers have standing water. The floors, the walls melt. They're nasty, moldy. Water drips from the ceiling. There's no heat. There's no air. It's a dungeon. So I'm there for 6 months, and there's a fight in my cell. I'm involved in a fight. We were in a holding cell beside the booking desk. So the charges that me and two other girls ended up getting were second-degree assault, unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping. And I think, yeah, that was it at that point. But that was our original charges. The second-degree assault got amended down to fourth-degree assault whenever her x-rays and stuff came back and she didn't have any real injuries or anything like that. But the charge that stuck was the kidnapping charge. So me and two other girls got charged with kidnapping as inmates beside the booking desk in Letcher County Jail. And so going to court, waiting for court for this, I had just signed a probation deal on that trafficking charge, and I pled to 5 years on that, probated, and 5 years on the child support charge, probated. And that was on a Friday. They didn't put my paperwork in that day, so I stayed the weekend. The fight happened literally like the next morning, Saturday, is when we got the charges. So the fight happened. They took the three of us and put us in a one-room cell, left us there with no mats for 8 months. And like no books, no TV, nothing. There's no rec time. But okay, so I had pled guilty to those things for probation. They used that against me whenever I went up for the kidnapping charge, and they revoked it, is what they ended up doing. So they gave me that 5 years and 5 years, which was supposed to be run concurrently and been 5 years total. Okay, that I would have to do on that, plus whatever they ended up giving me on the new charges. In the meantime, they shook down the cells. And there was our mats were just like plastic shells that some people had cardboard stuffed in. Some people had scraps of old clothes torn up, stuffed in. We didn't have foam in our mats or anything like that. So pieces of blankets, sometimes if you were lucky. But the I had a little piece of metal from a vent that we used to dig the trick filled hair and mucus and snot up out of the standing water in our shower. We used it to clean that out with and to keep our, as a plunger, because they didn't help us. They didn't give us things to use to take care of ourselves. Like, yes, we cleaned every day, but I mean, what the fuck is that going to do with all that mold and disease and fucking sweating, dripping walls and 42 women in an 8-bunk cell? I mean, come on. So everybody is always on edge, angry. They refuse to give you psych meds. The jailer actually pulled me out once and asked me, like, what is it? What is it that will make everybody calm down and stop showing their asses and stuff all the time? And that was my answer, was psych meds and rec. Like, that would just do wonders. You help people's mental health, and they're going to have an overall better experience for everybody, right? Basic humanity. So anyway, I got charged with that. They charged me with dangerous contraband. I got 18 months added onto my sentence for that. I did a year in county time for the assault charge. Like I said, it had got amended down to 4th degree assault. I got 365 days that I did on that before I could start doing state time. Went to court, went to final sentencing. They told me I had 7.5 years. Okay, so I clarified in court, at the end, they ask you, like, are you sure that you understand this? And I'm like, let's go over it again. You're saying that the 5 and 5 are ran concurrent for a total of 5 years plus the 18 months extra for the contraband and whatever it came out to 12 it was 7.5 total. Anyway, I've got my timesheet and stuff. I'll show it to you all later. I've got all my paperwork. I get to prison and find out that it is not 7.5 years. They gave me 12.5 years.
Hold on. Hold up. Nope. Okay. For those of you all that have been in jail, you can raise your hand. Hands raised. You don't want to spend your actual accused time in there, let alone another surprise time of 5 extra years. Okay? Listen, jail is not for humans, all right? It ain't. It's not. But let me tell you something. You getting 7.5 years, and then you get there because they're confirming that it went concurrent. So, but you get there to come to find out you had an additional 5 years that you did not know about. You had, in one instance, you're thinking about it and you're thinking you got 7.5 years and you good. Then come to find out you got actual 12. Yo, man. Shout out to Starfish and Coffee in the building. And thank you for tagging me in the video that video with the Gavin Fish, because I was actually kind of looking at that a little bit. And then but we're going to look at that today. We're going to definitely look at that tonight. And we're going to deep dive and we're going to really unpack this a little bit, because it's some questions that I have, and we're going to get into it. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. And this is good question. Did they change the concurrent to consecutive? She didn't say that on this video. She's saying that is it going to be concurrent? And then she's saying, yeah. But then she's saying, okay, now I get up there this 12 years when I get to prison. I don't know. That's wild though. That's definitely wild.
12.5 years. So I go to legal aid. What is going on? I go to admin. Help me. This is not right. So they send me a copy of the final judgment and say, This is in the final judgment. Once it's filed, that's all there is to it. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, what am I going to do? Right. So I do my time. I sat in prison for 5 years total at Pee Wee. I was in Letcher County, I think, and between there and Leslie County for a total of around 3 years before I went to Pee Wee. So whenever I got out, I got out on parole. Parole upon completion, mind you. I had to do the substance abuse and co-occurring disorders for mental health and trauma and stuff while I was there as a condition of getting the parole. So I did that, plus all the other classes that they offered there that I qualified for. I'm trying to take time off my sentence, right? Mm-hmm. So I get out. They tell me I have to go to drug court. No. That was not my sentence. They fixed that. I blew the fuck out in parole. I freaked out, just started bawling. I was like, they can't do that. They can't add on time onto a sentence that is you've already been convicted. You've already done your time on. So they fixed that on the condition that I did aftercare for them and finished doing all the other programs that I didn't get to do while I was in prison, which, was a bonus for me. I was glad to do them, and I did them. And I got all my time off. I served out my sentence to 0. I went to go get my gold seal to graduate parole to be told that they would not release me from parole until my child support is paid in full. So, whenever I got my judgment and final sentencing papers, I also got my judgment and final sentencing papers for the child support charge. When I was incarcerated, they doubled my monthly payment from $100 to $206, I think it was, a month, while I was incarcerated for all this time. So they did that. Sorry, I get so upset and so angry about this.
Well, you should be.
Because I worked for it and I did it. I never failed a drug test. I never fucking fucked up. I think I was late. Like one day I forgot that that day was parole day and I freaked out. I remembered at the end of the day and I called and he was like, calm down. It is okay. Like it's one little thing. It's fine. Come in tomorrow. So I did it perfectly. I did their time. I paid their fines. I paid the restitution. I do still owe like $300 at the clerk's office for court costs, they say. But back to the child support thing. They wouldn't release me from my parole. So right now, if you go to the Kentucky Online Offenders Lookup, it's KOOL.com, and you can put me in Taya Lucas, state number 306495. You'll see I'm on parole till 2099.
Hold on. What she say go to? Hold on.
Online Offenders Lookup. It's KOOL.com, and you can put me in Taya Lucas, state number 306495. You'll see me from my parole. So right now, if you go to the Kentucky Online Offenders Lookup, it's KOOL.
Somebody catch that for me, please. Somebody catch this for me real quick. Somebody catch this for me. If you can catch this, look this up.
But back to the child support thing. They wouldn't release me from my parole. So right now, if you go to the Kentucky Online Offenders Lookup, it's KOOL.com, and you can put me in Taya Lucas, state number 306495. You'll see I'm on parole till 2099.
What?
And I just recently found out that all this time they've been charging interest on the child support. So the payments that I haven't missed a payment for since I've been out and paid extra on, half of it means nothing.
Hold on, fam. She's skating through this. Hold on. Did she say cool? I need y'all to help me with this.
.com, Kentucky Online Offender. So right now, if you go to the Kentucky Online Offenders Lookup.
Okay, Kentucky online. Hold on, man. Hold on, fam. Kentucky online. Okay, it popped right up. It popped right up. This actually popped right up. Hold on, let's do it right now. Let's do this. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Give me a second. Hold on. We got to do this real quick. This is absolutely messed up, man. Kentucky. Oh, here it is, right here. Boom, Kabuski. I appreciate you, no one. Said like number 7, stopping by to show love and support. I appreciate you, baby. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's look at this real here. Taya Lucas. So Adams must be her married name. Let's see, Taya. And then oh no, hold on. I'm gonna go Lucas because it say last name first. Taya. Okay, fam. Let's look at this, fam. Weisberg office. Okay, current location offender. From the dangerous drugs, family, and a kidnapping. That's what she said. That's what she said. One of one. Hold on, that didn't her. This must have been when she was young. Oh my goodness. Here it is, right? Y'all see this? Do y'all see this? This is it. It says, hey man. Hey man. This is so messed up. This is so messed up. This is a shame. Supervision began date is 2022, January the 3rd. It ends on the 1st of January of 2099. She was not playing. She was not playing. 5 years. Okay, we got some stuff to look at. Okay. Offense number 1. Okay, felony class D. Sentence length is 5 years. Okay. One year here on the promoting contraband. So this is complicity traffic. So this is the drug trafficking right here. This is 5. That's that Suboxone strip that she's talking about. Okay, that they put 5 years. And in Kentucky, I just looked it up on my phone too. In Kentucky, having Suboxone without a valid prescription is a felony. So, all right, unlawful imprisonment. That's a year. First degree. Promoting contraband, first degree. 1 year and 6 months. Flagrant non-support. It says here is 5 years. Then other state offense says 5 years. Okay. Wow. She is literally on supervision probation basically until 2009. This is so unconstitutional. I'm getting boiled right now. I'm getting so upset right now, man. This is not even nothing is right about this at all. Nothing is right about this at all. 2099. 2099. 77 years is absolutely insane. Let's listen to this again because we want to hear what she said. Let's go back a little bit more. Let's listen to this again.
I freaked out, just started bawling. I was like, they can't do that. They can't add on time onto a sentence that is
Cat
already,
Williams in the
you've
building.
already been convicted. You've already done your time on. So they fixed that on the condition that I did aftercare for them and finished doing all the other programs that I didn't get to do while I was in prison, which, you know, was a bonus for me. I was glad to do them, and I did them. And I got all my time off. I served out my sentence to 0. I went to go get my gold seal to graduate parole to be told that they would not release me from parole until my child support is paid in full. So, whenever I got my judgment and final sentencing papers, I also got my judgment and final sentencing papers for the child support charge. When I was incarcerated, they doubled what my monthly payment from $100 to $206, I think it was, a month, while I was incarcerated for all this time. So they did that. Sorry, I get so upset and so angry about this. Because I worked for it and I did it. I never failed a drug test. I never fucking fucked up. I think I was late. Like one day I forgot that that day was parole day and I freaked out. I remembered at the end of the day and I called and he was like, calm down. It is okay. Like it's one thing, one little thing. It's fine. Come in tomorrow. So I did it perfectly. I did their time. I paid their fines. I paid their restitution. I do still owe like $300 at the clerk's office for court costs, they say. But back to the child support thing. They wouldn't release me from my parole. So right now, if you go to the Kentucky Online Offenders Lookup, it's KOOL.com, and you can put me in Taya Lucas, state number 306495. You'll see I'm on parole till 2099.
Look at this. Now, this is the number. She said 306-495, 464-845, 306-495. This is her. You see that say supervision end date? You see that date? All right, Biz Nation, y'all know how I get sometimes. I'm trying to suppress it. I'm trying to suppress it.
And I just recently found out that all this time they've been charging interest on the child support. So the payments that I haven't missed a payment for since I've been out and paid extra on, half of it means nothing. Now the question comes, why? Why did they do this to us? Why did they do that to me? And have been living in sober living for months. She'd been doing really, really well. So, yeah, it would be great to have some justice for that. We didn't even get to have a memorial service for her. She was planning to come home and see her kids. One of my co-defendants, Lexi Bentley, was killed on suicide watch a couple years ago under the care of Letcher County Jail. They sent her to the psych ward in Hazard. She was supposed to be on 15-minute watches. I had talked to her a couple of days before she was coming.
Okay. There is a part 2 that we about to get into. Okay. They are real slick for country folk. I mean, look. This is so corrupt. It's like you get lost for words and stuff like this. How do you have somebody on probation for this long? 77 years. I mean, until then they're gonna say, well, until it's paid in full, right? Until this child support is paid in full, then we're still gonna put you on probation. That don't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. 2000. So how? Okay, if it's just about that, the child, I'm pretty sure by 2099. You see, I mean, how you mean tell me I'm paying for a grown person at that point too? They, I don't know how old this child is that she is paying child support on or whatever, or have to. But all I know is at a certain point, you supposed to stop. It stops. It doesn't continue. So what am I on probation for that long when it stops at a certain age? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I wonder, and it did it show us who the judge was? Let me see. Did it show us who the judge might have been? It's Whitesburg. Okay, Whitesburg office, Letcher County. That's who was the judge for Whitesburg off for Letcher County. Who's the judge? Who? Somebody tell me. Somebody put his name in the chat. Tracy Talk said that's money for the county, not the child. Who is the judge of Letcher County? This is the location where she had to. This is where it comes from. You know what's so crazy? When you click on the link, right? Check this out. When you click on the link, it gives us a 404. We couldn't get to. We too late, huh? It was only 2022 when this whole particular probation happened. Now we can't get to it. We can't get to this hyperlink right here. Oh, okay. Bingo. Bingo. Whitesburg is Letcher County. The Letcher County judge is Kevin Mullins. Okay. This is absolutely insane. Let's go to part 2. Let's continue on because we do have some more that we're going to look at in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get through this. I believe right here is where she talks about her experience with Judge Kevin Mullins directly. Those of you that, first of all, thank you all for watching tonight. Those of you that are on X, I am on X right now, and I'm on YouTube right now. If you're on X, come on, jump over to YouTube and just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell, leave your comments, questions, concerns. You can email me at taybiztv@gmail.com if you want me to discuss some things, or if you have some type of case or anything that you want me to look at. I'm more than happy to look at it and to dissect it and see what we can gain from it. Because we're just regular people with common sense. And we're just trying to figure out how is it that people with common sense who may not know the law backwards and forwards, how is it that we can smell that this stuff it's just not right? How is it? How is it that we can notice that easily? So it's just crazy to me. But anyway, please subscribe to the channel. This is something that again we've been deep diving on this since September of last year when this incident happened with Judge Kevin Mullins, and this case has tentacles that goes in different directions. All right, so I believe in this video right here, Taya Lucas, Adams now is going to talk about Kevin Mullins, I believe. So let's take a look.
Here comes a deeper, more interesting piece to my story. Whenever I was 16 years old, I was sexually assaulted by Kevin Mullins in his office and paid for my services and then dismissed.
Ma'am, 16. 16.
I was sexually assaulted by Kevin Mullins in his office and paid for my services and then dismissed. And then I was groomed and ushered into sex work for the Letcher County Court. Higher ups for the lawyers for Harold Bowling.
She's dropping names. Listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. Listen to me very carefully. All right. Now, I'm about to say something, and I want to know what you all think. Okay. Okay. Does this remind you of just a little bit of the country version of Jaguar Wright? Right? Exactly. This gives you the version of it where it's like she's saying something so over your head, you're like, come on, really? But when you take a deep dive into Letcher County, this is not far-fetched at all. This is not far-fetched at all. She said that she was paid for her services, solicited for sex work, and not just for Mullins or a particular person, for Letcher County, is what she said. Is that not what she said? Let's go back. I believe that's what she said.
And I was groomed and ushered into sex work for the Letcher County Court.
For the Letcher County Court. She is, look, Cat Williams said, I feel like she's using pragmatic words, not emotional words, because this was the norm. This was the norm. There's another woman by the name of Elizabeth Jones. She has a YouTube channel called Hillbilly Crime. If somebody can, if you are interested in learning more about the Letcher County corruption, she lives down there. And her YouTube channel is growing too. And she talks about the corruption that's going on in Letcher County. It's ridiculous. She talks about Judge Terry Adams. We're gonna get into a lot more. I'll get into a lot more things. I'm going to drop a video about this whole ring of people that have not been named yet, that has a connection with Kevin Mullins. Thank you, Ken Williams. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And this is a good one. And a lot of these law enforcement officers are married and working the admin jobs at the courthouse. Absolutely. Kablooski. That is definitely correct. Definitely correct. Let's go. Let's continue. She said 16 years old now. Okay. Let's go back a little bit, then we're going to continue.
Was sexually assaulted by Kevin Mullins in his office and paid for my services.
I didn't mean to start it right there, but.
And then dismissed. And then I was groomed and ushered into sex work for the Letcher County Court. Higher ups for the lawyers for Harold Bowling. I mean, so I don't know. I remember whenever we got those charges and we were like frantically digging through law books, and I kept telling Lexi, was like, Ty, it's hopeless. It is hopeless. Like, that's it. They got us. We're done. We're done. That's it. They've ruined our lives.
Now remember, who else talked about stuff going on in the judge's chambers? A woman by the name of Sabrina Atkins. Sabrina Atkins filed a lawsuit about this very thing, sex in exchange for favors. Then there was a person added to that lawsuit, a woman by the name of Jennifer Hill, who had a fiance, and they went to the Letcher County court office to file a complaint about Ben Fields, because Ben Fields was coming to their house because he was trying to solicit her for the same sexual favors. And she did at one point, then she stopped because he wanted her to do more than just first base, if you will. Okay. He wanted to go all in. And then the fiance is like, Then the fiance goes down to the court to file a complaint, and they kick him out the court. We talked about that on this channel. So her story and the chambers, she's very specific. Like Kat said, pragmatic words. She's not talking about how she felt. She's not talking about how, he coerced me. No, no, she's not. She's using, even though it is in there. Coercion is definitely up in there for sure. She's young. That's too young, man. And you married, sir. Family, the whole nine. So we see where the mindset is, right? Then she said he groomed me. I think this case, I'm not sure if, now that I'm thinking about this, and maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment right now, but now that I'm thinking about this, I'm not sure if this case would go all the way to trial. Do they really want this to go to trial? There's going to be some things. I think there's going to be some things that comes out in a trial that they don't really want to come out. That's connected with Mullins and connected with Stines, deeper than just what happened in the deposition. It's deeper than just the Sabrina Atkins thing too. I think that was the kickstart of it blowing up the way it did. I'm pretty sure there was women complaining before that, before her lawsuit. But her lawsuit put a big spotlight on Letcher County court. Look here. They gonna shut it. Listen, they don't want this to go to. There is so much corruption. I'm not sure. I don't feel confident right now in that it will go to trial. This has been in discovery for a long time. Okay, and so I don't know. And maybe you all may think differently. You may give me something to think about, because again, I might be in the moment right now. But I'm saying right now, I don't see a legitimate reason why they want this to go to trial, knowing the corruption that is involved within this trial at the same time, because the deposition happened 3 days before he shot Kevin Mullins. Okay. He was deposed in his official capacity. Sean Mickey Stein's name never came up in an interview or anything from Sabrina Atkins or Jennifer Hill before she passed away. And the charges, and let's peep this. The charges that was against Ben Fields from Jennifer Hill, those charges got dropped. Why? Because she died. What timing? I mean, the timing of that is very suspicious. The man did 6 months at his house. Okay? At his house. Ben Fields, who was accused of 3rd-degree R-word, tampering with evidence and ankle monitors, tampering with monitoring devices. He did 6 months at the crib. He couldn't leave the crib. That's what they gave him. He pled guilty, did 6 months at the crib. His wife was a correctional officer at the jail. She was beating up women and everything that was messing with. At the crib. That's where he did his sentence. Man, this is crazy.
I had 2 small children at this time too, who were under the age of 3, and another child that was taken from me when she was born, and then my oldest daughter, the one that I owed the child support and stuff on, who I thankfully did get to have somewhat of a relationship with before all these things happened, and since I haven't got to make up that time with my younger ones yet, but I know that one day they'll hear the real story and they'll come to me. I have to have faith in that. I have to know that. The courts is who took my children from me as well, unjustifiably in each instance. I didn't lose my twins. I left the home that we were in because I was being raped by their grandfather, by my significant other's stepdad. I was being raped constantly, and the plan was to get out and then get my girls and move on with our lives. And I got set up for that Suboxone shit. The girl chased me down.
One strip.
And I kept telling her, we kept saying, no, no, no. And she kept saying, I'm so fucking sick. I'm so fucking sick. I'm dying. I know you know what it's like to be dope sick. I know you know what it's like to be dope sick. Like, fine. Yes, I do. But I'm not fucking with you. Well, she shows up. Like, she showed up at where we were at, like up on top of a mountain somewhere. And she was like, please, please, please. Like, I saw you drive by. And so I gave her one. And I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just, I'm done. Just like, fine, take it. Like, leave us alone now. Bitch sits down and fucking does a shot of dope on camera and then gets one from a friend of mine too. And so we both got charged with trafficking Suboxone for that. I don't know whatever happened to him, but so the sexual shit that went on for a few years until my mom died. And drugs, of course. Like, there was a lot of drugs involved, a lot of cocaine. That was the drug of choice for Kevin and some of the other ones.
Okay. So Kevin Mullins also did sugar, cocaine. What Kevin Hart say? Booger sugar, white girl, booger sugar. Jeez, oh Pete, man, this is crazy, dog. That was his drug of choice, is what she said.
Choice for Kevin and some of the other ones. For a while there that I knew about. But the thing is whenever my mom died, I went and tried to kill myself. I tried so fucking hard to overdose and kill myself. And I was 20 years old, lost to fucking death. And that's when, I guess, whenever I showed up and I had bruises on me, I will never forget the way that Kevin talked to me. And he was so degrading and so mean about it. But then he was like, I don't know. He was like, you do what you do, but you don't have to do it like that or whatever. And then he was like, I don't know. He didn't fuck with me for a while after that, but I was, very busy elsewhere because it wasn't long and they put me into detox in Pike County for 17 days. The court, Kevin's court. What ended up being Kevin's court. It wasn't Kevin's court at this time. This was way back in the day, like 2005, 6 ish. I don't know. I have to look at.
Yeah, see, she met Kevin Mullins when he was an assistant prosecutor, I believe. He was a lawyer at the time. So this is pre-Judge Kevin Mullins. All right, this is way before that. So she again met him when she was 16. Yeah. So this is before he was like the only judge in the county. So
my paperwork to know the exact dates. I'm not really good with the concept of time. But anyway, the detox and stuff. I went there for 17 days. I was losing my mind from my mom. Whenever I got out and came home, they put me on Suboxone there. That was like one of the first people to take home Suboxone from like a clinical setting. I get, or like a prescription that you could take home that you didn't have to go in and like dose for. And it was from that clinic. And I continued to see that doctor for like a couple of weeks after, and stayed like on his little Suboxone program for maybe a month or so, when the court system decided that they wanted me to go to drug court. And my dad threw a fit. He was like, no, because it would have been a conflict of interest for me to have been in drug court in Letcher County, because Edison Banks, my sister worked for him for like 25 years. And I grew up like in his office and stuff. It just would have been highly inappropriate, right, for me to be in a drug court program led by him. So my dad threw a fit. He said, no, absolutely not. And they ended up sending me to rehab for 1 year in Virginia. New Beginnings is what it was called. I was patient number 52. But so I did the rehab program. I graduated. I came home. I went and got my CNA license. Tried to move on with my life. I met Silas, and we had my second child, his second child too. We had our second child in Sadie, and then and it was a wonderful period of time. It was a wonderful period of time. We were happy. We were in love. We worked hard. We worked really hard. We were clean. And then, well, I mean, we were on this. I was on the Subutex program. Whenever I got pregnant, I went and found a clinic because I knew that I would have a hard time. We were on oxys and heroin before that. So I got on the Subutex and had Sadie. And the next day, the social worker comes into the hospital room to tell me that I couldn't take her home because she had Suboxone in her meconium in her first bowel movement. And I didn't have a valid active prescription for it. And I did, but it didn't stand for some reason. They didn't accept it. And so her grandparents stepped in. We all lived in the same house. It was a huge house. They stepped in and were like, well, we will take her. Like, she's coming home. Like, this is not even like negotiable. So we brought her home under the conditions that Pat and Ted had custody of her, but me and Silas lived in a separate part of the house and would only have supervised visitation. And they just kept on pushing and harassing to the point that they made me leave the house. And so Pat and Ted adopted her. We signed adoption papers so that social services and the court system would have no hold over her whatsoever and could get the fuck out of our lives because they were harassing us so bad. So that backfired. They ended up, I can't say they, Pat was a wonderful woman. She was a wonderful grandmother. She was a wonderful motherly figure to me. And she absolutely adored Silas and Sadie, and she was a joy. But Ted was a different story. He was an evil man, is an evil man. I don't think that kind of evil can ever truly go away. the things that I've seen that man do and the things that he has done to Silas and to me and to our family, and the extents that he has went to in order to keep me separated from my child, while he will look me right in the eye and say, I promise you I would never try to keep your child from you. Yet he does just that. He would call the cops every time I would try to visit. He finds out I'm on the phone. He rips the phones out of the wall. Whenever I was in jail or prison and stuff later on, if he would pick up the phone or I would call and he would answer, he would not take the call, or try to block it. Pat would have to always like unblock it, and Silas would have to unblock it so that I could keep in touch.
Wow, man. Yo, that is Taya Adams or Taya Lucas, but Taya Adams, who again just dropped bombshells on this whole situation. This is just sad, corrupt on so many levels, man. What we're going to do now is, again, we want to still continue to deep dive into her witness and her testimony and her actual, story about this. Again, Letcher County is very, very corrupt. It reminds me of the movie Walking Tall, when The Rock comes back to his small town. Excuse me, and his small town is just as corrupt. They got casinos, they got women, sex, drugs, money. That's the combination. That is the trinity of corruption: sex, drugs, and money. All right. And so this is kind of like what it reminds me of, but 2.0, well, 3.0 actually. It sounds like again, she said that she was groomed, and she was groomed for the Letcher County court to do sexual work. It sounds like they were doing some gathering, some collecting. Has anybody ever seen that movie Dark Tower with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, where they are collecting these children and they need these special children to break that black tower down, but they have to use their mind to do it, the power of the mind of a child. But they had agencies and agents that would go out and collect these children and gather them together. And what they would do is they would lie to the parents. They would tell the parents one thing, but they were really doing this for a different reason. They were collecting these kids, and so it seems like that to me. It seems like there is some type of collecting here. And so as we had continued to unpack this case and unpack this rabbit hole of craziness that we're experiencing here, we see that might be the case here. But there is some collecting. The agents are going out to collect these girls. And who's to say Judge Kevin Mullins allegedly was not an agent, quote unquote. You know what I mean? He has the power. Obviously, he has the power to do whatever he wanted to do. He's the judge. He can manipulate documents, paperwork. He can do all kind of stuff, And you met her at a time where you were an attorney coming up. You got all this good reputation going on for you. Got a clean name. You cleaned your name up. You cleaned it up enough for you to get elected to be the judge. You get inside the chambers, man. You act a fool, allegedly. Okay, and so with Judge Mullins not being here again, like I said in the beginning of this live, there has been, and I have seen this in multiple YouTube channels where people who are from Letcher County and even in the comments, they're like, yo, some people look at Sean Mickey Stines as a hero. They actually use the word hero. And I'm looking like, what? That's how they know Mullins in a certain light. And that's why it's important to have a good name, man. It's important to have a good name. When somebody says your name, there should be a positive reputation that's attached to that name. That name should be, a good name is more precious than gold, silver. minerals, precious stones. It's way more value in a good name than this. This is nothing. But if somebody know my name, somebody's like, yo, man, that dude right there, yo, he's solid. That's all I need. That's all I want. Solid, man. Your name has to be attached to something. And we always look for identity in this, in jewelry and in all this. We look for that identity and that in those things, in these things, but not in who you are, your name. Whatever your government name is, when somebody say, man, you know, such and such, man, yeah, that's a good person right there. I know that to be a fact. That's my experience with this person. That's a good person. And see, you have people like that. They had good experiences with Judge Kevin Mullins. Then you got some people that's like, he is not who you think he is. And the crowd of people that's saying, y'all think y'all know Kevin Mullins. It is not who you think. He's not who you think he is. And who's to say those people are not right? Who's to say? Right? So it's super important to make sure that your name upon death is solid, right? That's what this is about. Now, we're going to get into, because Gavin Fish, again, and his channel is in the description. Gavin Fish interviewed Taya Adams. I want to call her by her correct name now. Taya Adams. I believe that's her either. I think is Taya Lucas her maiden name, or is it Adams her maiden name? I'm not sure. I'm just going to say Taya, so that way I won't be inappropriate. But he interviewed Taya, and also Hillbilly Crime was on the show as well. And I believe the connection was that Hillbilly Crime reached out to Gavin about Taya, and then I think this is like the first time he actually really talked to her. And so he had some good questions. And again, when you're talking about stuff like this, you got to make sure you have proof. You got to make sure that you got a solid stream of evidence. You don't want to just come out guns a-blazing and be like, yeah, this person did this, bang, this person did that, bang. And then all you got is your word. Do you have any evidence and things like that? So there's going to be a little bit of devil advocacy going on here, but it's only to bring context and content to this particular show. Gavin Fish is awesome. I recommend anyone to go to his channel, subscribe to it. And look, I'm not only am I subscribed, I'm just like with Kat. I joined the channel. I'm a member. I'm also a part of his Patreon. Like, yo, and he got some good stuff on his Patreon. Like, the dude is solid. So, from what I've gathered so far, and I've been watching him for about a good 6 to 8 months before I even subscribed and did all this. You know what I'm saying? I was really trying to vet this guy, and he's solid in his work. But let's go ahead and look at this real quick. We're going to get into the interview that Gavin Fish had with Taya, and also Hillbilly Crime was there, as well as, you know, someone to add context and content to this as well. So let's get into it.
Bigger. And recently, we had Elizabeth Jones on just a couple of days ago talking about our guest who is joining us with Elizabeth, who has come out. I'd say she's come out swinging. She's making some claims about Judge Mullins, about Letcher County, about the cartel of power, I guess is the way that I would describe it, in my opinion, that has been in power down there in Letcher County for a long, long time. So without further ado, let us welcome Elizabeth Jones from Hillbilly Crime and Taya Adams from Appalachian Dream. Ladies, welcome.
Hi, Fish. Thanks for having us back.
Glad you're here. And Taya, it's nice to meet you.
Yes, it's nice to talk to you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And I saw that you were on with Joel, which we all love Joel over there at Surviving the Survivor. Glad that you've come out. Now, Elizabeth, you made a very good point before we started. There are probably a lot of people, and not to diminish the people that have come out, like Sabrina, like Jennifer, and now like Taya. There are probably a lot of people that have been on the receiving end of the abuse of those that are powerful in Letcher County. And I think it's only natural for everybody to go, let's rah, let's get these victims out, let's parade them out, help them and everything. And I totally get that urge, but a lot of them just really don't want to do that, right?
Yeah. Some people are just a lot more, well, the trauma goes all the way around, but some people have had such traumatic experiences, they're just not ready. They're not in the healing process where they're able to come public, and talk about this stuff. Some people feel like they're in danger, physical danger. They feel like they're still in danger with children's services. They feel that they're still in danger with probation and parole, drug court. So, I understand the desire for, like you said, let's rally behind them, let's get them all out. And Taya is she is coming out swinging, but we just have to remember that some of the others aren't ready to do that yet. So let's get behind Taya and and let the others come forward when they're ready.
Great. Taya, you did come out swinging the last couple of last week or so, at least in my orbit, right? I've seen you over the last week or so. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into all the Judge Mullins craziness. Tell us a little bit about yourself down there, your life experience down there in Letcher County.
It's a beautiful place, beautiful area, great people. We have a farm. We've got a big farm with a lot of goats and donkeys and chickens and rabbits and a little garden and all the things, I'm just a country girl.
So it seems like even though,
a mountain girl.
Yeah. So though you have had some real, we're going to get into this story a little bit, but you're still happy to be living down there in that area. Is that where you're from originally too?
Yes. I'm from Thornton area of Letcher County. Yeah, that's where my family's from.
All right.
I still live in the county, just in a different area now.
Gotcha. So tell us, let's go, just cut to the chase, jump into it. The allegations that you made were that you are a victim specifically of Judge Kevin Mullins, right?
And Harold Bowling.
Tell us about
it. Well, it was grooming. It was consensual. It was weird. We made money. We had fun until it wasn't, until they were done with me and then discarded me and started to destroy and systematically abuse me for my entire life. They took my children and they charged me with all those crazy charges with the kidnapping and everything. They told me I had 7.5 years. I get to prison. There's actually 12.5. I get out of prison. They tell me then I have to go to drug court. And I got that took care of and ended up doing aftercare, a bunch of programming, finished out my parole time, went to graduate from parole and get my gold seal, to be told they refused to release me because of the child support that they doubled when they sent me to prison and put in my final judgment.
Okay, so you've got a lot going on.
Then I just recently found out that there's interest being charged on the child support as well. So my payments aren't really doing anything. And the child is 22. It's taking money out of her pocket to send to the state.
Okay, wait a minute. We didn't know that. The child is 22. So it goes back to this comment earlier from Tracy Talks. That's money for the county, not for the child.
Okay, I don't understand.
There's a lot going on there.
They can hold you until 2099.
Okay, hang on just one second. Hang on just one second. I want to make sure that we kind of take it slowly here. Okay, can you tell me how you met Judge Mullins?
Yeah, I was, my sister had worked for Edison for a really long time, and I was kind of training in the office, in his office as Commonwealth attorney, like learning office management and things like that, filing, how to type up paperwork and various things. And I'm sorry, Kevin was the assistant Commonwealth attorney at the time. Across the road was his office, was straight across from City Hall. And I went over there to take a deposition one day, and that's when it started, was that day.
Elizabeth, what is a Commonwealth attorney in Kentucky?
Okay, so the Commonwealth attorney is the one who prosecutes felonies. And Edison Banks, who she's talking about there, was the prosecuting attorney, the Commonwealth. So he did all the felonies. He worked as the prosecuting attorney for over 20 years, and her sister worked for him. Was it your older sister, Taya? She was older than you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
she's worked 20 years older than me.
So she worked for him for a long time. How long did
18
she work
years. I'm sorry. 18 years older than me. She worked for him for 25 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
the Commonwealth attorney, is that like...
she's a lot older than me. There's a big age gap.
In other places, would that be the equivalent of like a district attorney, something like that?
Yeah, our district attorney does misdemeanors, but our Commonwealth attorney does the felonies.
Gotcha. Okay. So how old were you when you took that job over there?
16.
Okay, so you meet Kevin Mullins at the age of 16.
Okay, before we continue, I'm sorry to pause here, but do you all want me to speed this up just a little bit as far as like the play speed, or is the play speed good? Right now we have 1.25. Do you want me to take it to like maybe 1.35 if we can? See if we can take it to. I know it's a way to. Let's go 1.3. Is 1.3 good? That's too fast. Let's go 1.35 real quick. Let's see how that sounds.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit before that. A little bit before that.
Okay. So how old were you when you took that job over there?
16.
Okay, so you meet Kevin Mullins at the age of 16. Yeah, okay.
A little bit before that. A little bit before that. Like, yeah, that's when our relationship started. I mean, it wasn't a relationship, but our,
Sexual
things.
You were 16 years
The
old
sexual
when
things.
a
There was
sexual
parties.
relationship
He
started?
would have me, he would like pay me to have sex with other people, to perform with other women, things like that. Him and Harold Bolin, especially.
I was about to ask, you said another name. Who was Harold Bolin?
Yeah. He was the one that was over child support. I don't know if he would be called county attorney, I think. Maybe Jamie, what's his name, took his place.
Yeah,
He was, what's his name?
attorney. So he would have been
Yeah.
He would have
Say
been
that
the
again, Elizabeth.
he would have been the district attorney at the time.
Okay. So he was handling the misdemeanors, and Mullins was handling the felon, or well, he was the assistant handling the felonies. Okay. So at the age of 16 is what you're saying, you began a sexual relationship with Kevin Mullins.
Tell the story the first time when you went to learn how to take a deposition. What happened?
Ended up with my shirt down and gave him oral, and he threw money in my face and told me to clean myself up and reminded me that I knew better than to tell anybody. And
How
come back
old
and
were
see
you?
him when I was ready for more. 16.
Okay. So this is a gross
now,
question. I just have to ask
can
it. What is the age of consent in the state of Kentucky?
I think it's 16.
I think it is 16. I'm not
So
arguing
that's
that it was consensual,
that's codified
but
into
it's
law.
still highly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, is I don't want everybody to get too distracted with that, because there is a much, much bigger, broader problem that spans through hundreds of families here.
Okay. What is it?
With the prison for profit, programming for profit, keeping us recycled into the system, using CPS to systematically harass and remove our children, gang stalking tactics, probation and parole. They tack on more and more charges or more and more time onto your sentence as you go along. When you hit the milestone, oh no, you're not done. You have to do more. They charge you out to ask restitutions and court fees and fines and all sorts of things.
Elizabeth, when we talk about court fees and fines, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that is how the court is funded. That's how judges are paid. That's how staffs are paid. Staffs are paid, not staffs. Is that the way it is in Kentucky?
Well, I'm sure it is. But the big part of this that has really come down in the last, say, 10 years or so, is all this funding for the substance abuse. Taya, how old are you?
40.
Okay, so she's about 10 years younger than me. And so whenever I was going through my time, I was of the generation where you didn't get any help. You didn't go to the doctor. You didn't get your medications. And Taya too, she was after me, but they still weren't giving people their medicine, back then. This has just been something recent within the last several years that they've been doing with all this funding, getting people in to see the doctor, getting them counseling and getting them all this stuff. But it's not really, what is it doing to help these inmates and to help these people that are struggling? It seems like all this money is going to pay salaries. It's going to pay whatever. I would like to see the financial records. Somebody's got a credit card.
What were you going to say, Taya?
I was just going to say the rehab programs and stuff that they're putting people into, part of the ARC system, and then you've got the drug court and all that also lets them keep a much tighter and closer rein on you. Like, you cannot breathe, you can't move, you can't go to the store without somebody up your ass following you down the road, or calling your probation officer, calling your social worker. They come for you. Like, it's not like,
well, they keep you under their
they don't
thumb.
help. So that to keep you quiet, to keep us from doing this.
And let's talk about that part a little bit, because this is a very big story, like you're saying, Taya. It's a very big story. Tons of.
As soon as the kids turn
corruption
18,
and
they
power.
start scooping them up and harassing them.
let's go back. You met Kevin when you were 16, and Harold as well. So you're saying that the district attorney and the assistant Commonwealth attorney were engaging basically in solicitation, right? I mean, that's what it is.
There's more
That's
men
what it
in
is.
that
Yeah, there's
circle.
more. Yeah, there's more men and many other women
And have you named any of those
and
names
boys.
as well?
Some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what at what point does Kevin become, I mean, let's, I don't want to call him Kevin. I don't know the guy and he seems totally creepy. Mullins.
Right?
Oh, goodness.
You do that because I call
Oh,
him.
that's what it
I think that's what happened. Yeah, it rubbed off
That's
on
what
me.
everybody here does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mullins, where does he go from assistant Commonwealth attorney? What happens next in his career? Do you know that, Elizabeth?
Yeah, in 2009, he was appointed district judge by our then governor, Steve Beshear, who is the daddy of our now governor, Andy Beshear.
Okay. Yeah, no nepotism there at all. So I'm doing the math here real quick. We are talking 24 years ago is when it started. So we're in 2001. Am I on the right timeline here, Taya? When you met him around 2001, right around in there. Okay.
Yeah, I became pregnant with my daughter shortly after. So like there was like a little break there while I had my baby, and I tried to leave with her. I tried to go move to Florida. I've tried to leave here multiple times with my kids, and they come and get me or make sure that everything fails. Like whenever I had Leah, I was still underage, and I tried to move to another state with a newborn baby. Nobody would hire me. Everybody. It was so hard. It was so hard. I was there with family, but like I didn't have an ID, didn't have a driver's license, and I didn't have a parent to go and like it just made everything so much harder. And I just gave up and came home. And then I remarried, and moved to Massachusetts with her. And he was an abusive. He was on drugs, and we ended up leaving and coming back here.
Okay.
Every time we try, it's whenever I tried to leave after my twins, there was a warrant out for my arrest within 3 hours for child support, and I had just finished parole that week or probation that week on all my charges, paid up all my fines and everything.
It's crazy.
I did all
man.
that so that I could be set, and they couldn't come for me when I would leave. I left, and before I could even get to a safe place to be, I got to my friend's house in Somerset, went out for cigarettes a little bit later, and the truck broke down. When the cops came to, I thought they were going to, pull over, maybe help me start my truck, but they took me to jail instead, and then drove me back to Letcher County, and that's where all of this nightmare started.
When did Mullins become the district judge?
2009.
Okay, so
2000. Okay, so 2009. Now we did see that Letcher County started the probation or the supervision January the 3rd, 2022, all the way to January 1st, 2029, when the supervision, quote unquote, would cease. So Letcher County put this woman on a permanent probation, which is unheard of. It is unheard of. I would not be surprised if this becomes like a Supreme Court case. This got like a Supreme Court case vibe on it, like the Supreme Court versus the Commonwealth of Kentucky or the state of Kentucky. Something has to be done about this. I'm not connected to lawyers like that, so I can't. I don't know. I would, man. Look, I'm going to try to find me a lawyer to try to figure out have they heard of this before. You can't. There's no way you heard of this before. This is like a Supreme Court level type of corruption that needs to be like the United States need to hear about this. This is nuts. This is nuts.
for 8 years he was he was the assistant Commonwealth attorney. Well, for those 8 years he was, from 2001 to 2009. Okay. And I'm sorry to keep harping on this, but I mean, some people think that the allegations that Sabrina Adkins made in her proffer, a lot of people said there's no proof of that, right? And in fact, there's been no proof.
All kinds of proof.
But so that's what I want to get to, right? I mean, if what I've suspected, especially in talking with Elizabeth, is that, I mean, there's probably like a little cartel of folks that kind of are the power brokers in that area, and they, I don't even get this, but for some reason they turned it into like a sex ring of some sort, or at least that was part of it. I don't get why people do that, especially in the age of the internet. Come on. But like, what can you tell me, like, what I'm suspecting, is it true? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
There are more girls. There are many more victims inside that jail. There are victims who are still inside that jail, and that jail is deplorable.
What were you asking?
People get raped, they're groped, they're sexually harassed. not just the inmates, but the workers sexually harass each other. They're all screwing around with each other, having sex in closets and stuff, taking the house arrest girls out to the closet that's like, they're the old unused stairwell.
Yeah.
That's like, there's a hallway in the middle of the jail where the med room and stuff is like, on one side and directly across there's an unused stairwell, and they would unlock and go in there for their.
That has to be on purpose, that there's no cameras in
They would
places like that.
knock us out like with Benadryl so that we would sleep and not bother them and not ask for things so that they could just do what they want all the time. They can't even feed them right now. I don't know. Did they get a stove, Liz? Do you know if they even have a stove?
No.
So hundreds of our mothers, sisters, brothers, fathers, uncles are sitting down there in that moldy, dark dungeon and can't even have a real cooked meal. No sunlight, no recreation.
Yeah, that was the other thing. That jail, there can't be a rec area, right? I mean, it's inside one building.
There's a small space on the roof, but you're not allowed to go up there because their cameras don't work, and they refuse to fix them.
Okay.
Because they had an escape up there once.
I'm at a loss for
I
words.
can't remember who it was. He broke his leg jumping off the roof.
We have a fiscal court, our judge executive and our fiscal court. It is up to them. It's their responsibility to do like walkthroughs. Even our grand jury is allowed to do walkthroughs of our jail. And I heard that they had a surprise inspection a couple weeks ago, and they went through. But from what I was told, they got tipped off before they went, and so it looked like they had just recently cleaned it and stuff. But
I heard they just got a fresh coat of paint the other day.
So, and I was asking, well, when was the last time that they had done a walkthrough before then? And they hadn't. Nobody had done anything, and if you're getting paid a salary and all you have to do is show up to one meeting a month, for that fiscal court meeting, you'd think that they would know what their job duties were. Because people's lives are at stake.
Let's get back to Kevin Mullins here for a second. So you meet him when you're 16, you're working for him. It turns sexual pretty fast, it seems. Tell me where it goes from there.
We would party sometimes whenever they would have their parties and stuff. I would bring friends sometimes. Sometimes he would have the people there. Sometimes he would just want me to go with his friend. Some random Tom, Dick, or Harry.
When you say they, who are you talking about?
Him, Daniel Dotson, Harold Bolin.
The legal system.
And then, of course, the jail. Yeah, the legal system. The entire legal system pretty much is just.
Would any of that have been Mickey Stines
I don't know
or anything
about
like
that. Michael Clark. Do what?
Would Mickey Stines have been in part of that at that time?
No, I'll tell you this. Mickey's never been anything but professional and appropriate with me. He was never inappropriate with me, ever. That's what God's on.
Okay, this is interesting, man. Dang, this is interesting because, again, there is mixed emotions about Sean Mickey Stines. There are a crowd of people that's like, yo, throw him under jail. He did it, whatever, boom, whatever. Then there's a crowd of people that's like, yo, he's a vigilante. Seriously. I have seen this a lot lately, where even when I'm looking at other shows, just like Surviving the Survivor, when I was looking at the comments in certain comments and certain people who live in Kentucky are saying Sean Mickey Stines was a vigilante or he was a hero because he got rid of the corruption. And they're referring to Kevin Mullins as this, which I find is very fascinating that now I've been seeing this. And then all of a sudden she comes out like, look, I got to tell you about my story. And again, I like what Katna Williams said, and shout out to Katna Williams and Lexi, the law nerd. When she said earlier, she's using pragmatic words. She's not using emotional words. She's not using hyperbolic terms. These are realistic, fact, straight words, sensible wording. She's giving vivid description. She's punching right at your face with it. She's not giving you the lead up and all that. No, she's telling you what happened to her. And then he's asking questions about, well, how did you meet? Well, okay, what happened after that? These type of leading words, leading questions to lead her into the actual explanation of things. But this woman is using straightforward terminology, man. And she's saying Sean Mickey Stines is one of those boys that he looked like he's a part of the good old boys, but he not. He was professional. He's this, he's that. Now, Is he the brightest bulb at Home Depot? Probably not. Okay. The man was grandfathered into his position. So, he was grandfathered into being a bailiff and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, was he the brightest bulb? No. Was he the tallest lamp at Menards? No. Okay. No, probably not. But was his intent to be professional? Was his intent to be, upstanding? Not only did this woman just say yes, but also guess who? Sabrina Atkins also said, I've never seen Sean Mickey Stines do anything inappropriate. I've never seen Sean Mickey Stines on the video of Judge Kevin Mullins. I've never seen it. So that's very telling of his character, which is why people are like, okay, why did you do this? Out of all the people, I don't think they was expecting him to snap. Out of all the people who did something this strenuous, it's Sean Mickey Stines. Out of all the ones, so this is a very blended reaction of the shooting of Kevin Mullins, and this reaction has blossomed into being blended because when it first hit the airwaves of this incident where Mickey Stines shoots Kevin Mullins, everybody's like, first of all, everyone was flabbergasted at the idea that this even happened. Secondly, they're like, man, this dude needs to be thrown in prison immediately. Now, this is the first offense that he's ever done in his entire life. I went to courtrec.com because I got an account with them. I looked up Sean Mickey Stines, never had a record. So, and you can't have a record when you're a sheriff anyway. So this is the thing. And Starfish, you're hitting it right on the head. I was just about to say it. That brings it right back to the daughter. There is a connection with the daughter. I don't care what the news. See, the news will tell you whatever they want to tell you. So that way you won't think. See, the news do not want you to use your critical thinking skills. They try to suppress your critical thinking skills. So they try to tell you how to think. There is something going on. The daughter is connected in some type of way. Well, the reports are saying that it had nothing to do with the daughter. Yo, why was this man handcuffed in the hallway right after he shot Judge Kevin Mullins and said, I want to see my daughter? You bring my daughter down here, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I will tell you everything you want to know. I want you to bring my daughter down here. They're like, well, Mickey, I got to ask your wife. Mickey, if that's appropriate. It's on the body cam footage that we saw together. So I don't understand. Mullen has a photo of her in his phone thank you. The name of the contact is police, but it's her picture and it's her number. We saw that. Not only did we know that through reports, that accurate reports, and also local reports, like such as the Mountain Eagle, which I'm also subscribed to for a year to make sure that we keep up with this, but also the fact that we saw it on the video that Kevin Mullins' phone, when he dialed that number, a photo came up. Like, you cannot tell us that it had nothing to do with her. So why was that even the topic of discussion when they were in the chambers alone together? So this is deep. This is deep, man. This is deep.
That's true. He was firm, and he would take my ass to jail. But I was asking for house arrest. I kept asking 3 separate times going to court and stuff, and he would just say, "We'll see," and I never got put on the list. So I don't know what that was about. But
Mickey was a straight arrow then, at least with you.
To me, he was, and to a lot of my friends. Yeah, I know a lot of people that feel the same way about him.
Okay. Did you have any interaction?
With him.
Okay. Did you have any interaction with Judge Mullins after he became Judge Mullins?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. I've done cocaine in his office.
You see, do you see? Listen, man. You can tell a liar a mile away. You see how straight she is? She's not even blinking.
What's about that?
Yeah. I've done cocaine in his office. I've slept with him in his office. I've slept with other people in his office, in the chambers. Upstairs, there's like this little room out the, like where the clerk's office and stuff is, out in the hallway beside the upstairs courtroom. It's like a little separate room where there's a vending machine and table and stuff. I've had sex with him in there. We've had sex in the driver's license department. Back in the backside of the circuit courtroom, up there in the office, in the front office of the circuit chambers.
All over that courthouse.
Just
you
like
think
most people have, yeah.
Say
They
that
bring
again,
him up from
Elizabeth?
jail to do it.
I said just like Ben
Just
Fields.
like Ben Fields.
And he wasn't the only one.
Luther Tackett always up in the windows at the jail asking to see titties or can he touch your pussy.
Okay.
He grabbed Lexi through the beanhole right by her.
I want to say something too. You guys have to understand that, you know, they chose these women for a reason because
Right.
there wasn't
Shout out to
nobody
No More
to fight
Trials.
for them. You know, they had groomed
Appreciate you stopping
them
by.
from such a young age, you know, that this was normal. And it was such a normalized thing around here that
It was acceptable to everybody.
everybody that knew about it, even though it was taboo, you know, and nobody really wants to talk about it.
Maybe a little scandalous, but
But you had men, like I said, they were before social media, they were out, they were loud, and they were proud. And they didn't care who knew what they were doing because who's going to believe them?
Right.
They're going to believe you or they're going to believe me. So when anybody comes at, if anybody comes, but see, that's a cultural thing too.
and the few that do,
Questions. They don't ask no questions. People just turn a blind eye or they join in.
Say, what were you going to say, Taya?
I was just gonna say, or the ones that do, like yeah, they just turn a blind eye or join in. It's
No,
normal.
you probably don't know this, Taya, but
You know?
I'm a reporter up here in Pennsylvania.
Like that's not where the problem is. That's what I meant by that. Like that's not really the thing. Like it's scandalous, yes, but that's not where the issues lie. But
I'm
he
a
was
reporter.
involved in all the other issues, his rehab programs, his recycling into the system. He did one decent thing for me in his life, and that's when social services harassed me so bad over my twins, endlessly, it seemed like. And he finally stood up for me and told that social worker that she needed to stop. She was harassing me, and he called the ombudsman in Frankfurt and reported them.
Why do you think he did that?
And I was contacted by the ombudsman, and they closed my case and gave my babies back because she was legit like going nuts with her harassment.
Yeah, but I
It was
mean,
insane.
with
insane.
Kevin, it probably worked to his advantage to have like.
And she had me in court every week, and I was doing good. Like I was doing everything so perfectly and so good, and I was fighting so hard. I was fighting so hard for my babies, and I think he just seen that. I don't know if he was like, okay, you're going too far with this or what. I don't know what his moment of clarity was in that moment. I was grateful for it though.
Maybe it was a moment of guilt. Like the credibility
Yeah.
thing that you brought up,
Maybe.
Elizabeth, is extremely important. The in my reporting up here,
Mhm.
Elizabeth, you know this. I've been doing a series on the Venango County Jail, which is a western Pennsylvania county, and we've got very similar problems here. Very similar complaints. Nobody's able to go in and check it because it is a jail that is closed to the public. Nobody gets to go in there. But when I talk to former inmates, they're all saying the same thing, and their credibility keeps coming up. When I talk to people in power about what these complaints are, they go, "Oh, those people lie. Oh, she lies. You know that she's been convicted 3 times for drugs. You know she's lost her children. You know all these things." And that, I mean, that's a nefarious plan. If they're going after those people in order to get those charges on them so that they have no credibility, so that they can continue to abuse them, that is a freaking evil plan all the way around. But
and they've done it for 50 years here.
Yep.
Yeah.
This went on long before Kevin as well. This started long before Kevin.
Oh, I'm sure it's learned behavior, right? I mean, if you're a young lawyer, you're coming up in the prosecutor's office, you're an assistant Commonwealth attorney. I'm sure he learned it.
Yeah, he just took it to the next level with the rehab stuff. And Jimmy's drug court program.
And whose drug court program?
Jimmy Craft, circuit court judge. Jimmy Craft.
Is he the one that came down to?
And
say
some
that?
Others are. I don't even know who the other people are. Robbie Cancer, I think, and I don't know who the other one is.
Elizabeth, tell us the backstory on that guy.
Panel. Yeah, you tell us.
So Judge Mullins or Judge Kraft is the felony judge. Say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And his courtroom has the drug court program, and he is the judge that in the depositions and the investigation stuff, we find out that he's the one that went over and allegedly told Mickey that that they had known about the accusations against Ben, but they didn't tell him, and they apologized. And Robbie Kinser was I guess he was one of the supervisors or something in the drug court program, wasn't he, Taya?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what his position is, but
he worked in there, right?
Yeah.
So so the picture that you are painting, and I have believed Sabrina, I believed Jennifer, everything that Elizabeth is saying, I've believed the whole time. It just feels true in my bones. Ty, you're adding a new dimension to it. The thing that occurred to me is, as you're describing this, that all of the different rooms where it's happening, all of the places where they know there are no cameras, all the everything. If the judge is saying, yeah, we knew about Ben, we're sorry we didn't tell you, that seems more like, well, we didn't tell you because it wasn't just Ben, it was 40 other people that was happening too. Why would we tell you something that's common knowledge?
I want to bring out something else too. I think what is getting lost here is that most people don't understand what sex trafficking is. Most people don't understand what human trafficking is. You know, up in these haulers, you've got children that are being traded for a cigarette. Okay, so you've got a mommy and she's maybe got an 8-year-old little girl, and she's going to send that little 8-year-old girl up to the neighbor's house up in the holler to go get her a cigarette from the SMEX offender. So, you know, she'll go up there, hey, my mommy wants a cigarette, and, you know, he might feel her up and get whatever jollies he wants off that little girl. And then, you know, and she takes that cigarette back down to her mommy. You know, I know how them dirty old men came on to me all my life. So I can just imagine what they're doing to these little girls now, you know, and it's hard. Most of us, when we hear sex trafficking or human trafficking, we think of Colombia or Africa or
Hong Kong, something like that.
Even Mexico, you know, that's what most people think of. They just cannot wrap their minds around the fact that it's happening right here under our noses in our haulers. And every time somebody turns their blind eye and says, oh, well, that sex offender doesn't have any kind of restrictions on him, she's allowed to go up there. You know, when you've got cops that don't care, you know, they're not.
Don't forget about Bill Meade.
Yeah, Bill Meade. Bill Meade was best buddies with Edison Banks. He's Ben Fields' uncle. He was 85 years old, you know, getting some little, coaxing some little 14-year-old girl. Oh, well, if you come down, he was the fire chief. If you come down.
He bought a little girl from her mother. He paid for cash for her to take her.
Is this the same guy that, like, I think Sabrina had to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was the sex trafficking charges for Ben? And
a lot of people have been touched by him.
A lot.
Rape is a real problem here. A lot of men here are rapists. I've been raped more times than you would ever believe, and many of my girlfriends have too.
And most of the times when young women start being done that way at a young age, you know, men just know. They know. You know,
they can smell it or something.
And we're in a small area. These people know each other.
I bet they talk.
Yeah, they know.
They pass videos around between each other.
I was told.
There's a video of Lexi that's been drugged and she's being gang raped by 4 people.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, okay? Let's try not to use that word, by the way, because YouTube will make it so that nobody sees this. I mean, I don't want it to be that way because we should be able to talk about things. But we also want more people to see this in order to understand what's going on, right? So, so that I'm not trying to be a prude. I'm just trying to make it so that people see this, right?
I understand. Yes, I forget. I'm just blunt and call it what it is.
Well, it's terrific that you are. The one of the allegations that Sabrina made was that she saw a video of Judge Mullins in his chamber with another. She called her a girl. I don't know if that meant it was a girl or a woman. I don't know, but you just said there's a video of somebody being passed around. Is this common knowledge? There are videos. There's evidence. Just that exists.
I mean, I don't know how common knowledge it is. There's a lot of it from a lot of different people. They don't feel safe to even speak up yet.
That's one of those things where, I mean, I'm struggling here, Elizabeth, because that is evidence. That is evidence.
That guy asked me last night, why didn't I just call the state police? And I laughed out loud. That's just ridiculous. They're dangerous. The cops here are dangerous.
Right.
There was a boy that was just shot by an officer.
Why would you call the police when they're involved? Again, we just talked about Jennifer Hill, rest in peace, who had a fiance, went to the Letcher County court office to complain about Ben Fields, who kept coming to their home, kept trying to harass her, trying to solicit Jennifer Hill for sexual favors. And then they kicked him out of there. Don't you ever come back here. If we see you here again, they threaten the man. Cops are not supposed to threaten you. You see what I'm saying? So this corruption is utilized. These are sinful men. sinful system. And let me tell you something else. The young lady, I forget her name. I got it written down in my pad over here. The young lady who was over the ankle monitors to activate and deactivate them, she participated in it too by deactivating, knowing that Ben Fields was doing this. Like they said, common knowledge means knowledge that we all know it, even if it's unspoken, it's still knowledge. You know it. So even in that, so this corruption is, you have to have all players involved, but it's ran by the corrupt, sinful nature of those men. Like she said, it's a huge problem down there in that area. Of course, this is something that happens all over the country. However, here in Letcher County, this is like levels on levels of craziness. You know, and with the FBI being involved with the addiction recovery care company that was founded in Letcher County, I'm telling you, this is going to be deeper than just the fact that Mickey Stines shot Kevin Mullins. I don't think anybody ever heard of that before, a sheriff shooting his own judge. But something is going to unfold through this trial, I'm telling you. Because why did they admit to having a grand jury meeting unrecorded? Unrecorded. This is the reason why Jeremy Bartley, Sean Mickey Stein's lawyer, filed a motion to dismiss the indictment. Why do you think he filed it?
The other day, 24 years old, multiple times in the head or in the face, I think, and in the back.
And shot in the mouth.
Yeah.
I guess what I guess where I'm getting tripped up here on the video thing is that this is evidence that this is hard evidence.
There are other.
These are receipts.
They also have people locked away in prison that have evidence that they know of too, and they've got them slammed down and locked down.
I got to get a PO box or something, like something where people can send VHS or whatever.
Send things safely.
Yeah, because it's not. I don't want
That's
to
a
see
good
all
idea.
that stuff, but there's got to be a way to safely get that into a place where, like, as a journalist, I can't give up my sources. If I tell them I'm not giving up my source, then I go to prison before I give up my source. Right? That's the deal. Maybe that's something that needs to be done, because that is
That's a good idea.
receipts. If there was like, hey, here's Judge Mullins, blur out what he's doing, but that is Judge Mullins, right, or whomever.
If you think about the way that technology has advanced, I've said many times that a lot of these crimes were committed 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just something that just happened within the last 5 years. This stuff goes back several years. And at that time, around that time, like 2000, even before then, think about, now I do a little pig Latin here, or no pay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or no pay is an addiction. It is a problem that some people struggle with. How did people get their or no pay before the internet?
Yeah, it was all print. Yeah.
It was all print. Well, then the internet comes out and people start being able to find it on the internet, and they can find it on their phones and stuff. Nobody knew about tracking. Nobody knew about being able to get phones as evidence and stuff like that. And if you just kind of look at the timeline, around one of the things that we see a lot of people do now, they're smartening up now, but about 5 years ago around there, people were just taking naked pics of themselves all the time and sending them back and forth, to people. Yeah. We have a really big problem with young people being duped and manipulated into sending pics, and then they end up self-harming because they're, then blackmailed over it. This stuff has been going on for quite some time. Now, these lawyers and judges are not, above that stuff. That if they had this sick desire, which we pretty much know they did, that's going to be part of it, taking pictures. And that was kind of a new thing. It was new, it was exciting. I know that one of the big things with men around here is it doesn't matter who you were, if you were an inmate, if you were a grocery store worker, if you were, listen, I was in church, I was so on fire for the Lord, and I was out ministering. And one of these people who have been mentioned in this show right now, they said that to so many people, they don't even remember saying that to me. I remember them saying it to me. Now they want to go tell on all these other people, and I'm sitting there looking at them like, I guess you could forget when you was trying to see mine. You know, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking.
But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and that's what I keep kind of getting at. That
I believe she's referring to Michael Clark, who was a pastor. And matter of fact, I believe he was Sean Mickey Stein's pastor, I believe. However, Michael Clark, man, I gotta do a video on this dude for real. He man, it's a story on him, boy. And he's trying to portray this. He's trying to portray this. You know, we need to pray for our brothers, our sisters, or we need to pray for the families, and we need to do this and do that. And he's trying to act like he's all for that type of emotion, but really, he's been involved in the corruption with Addiction Recovery Care Company. He was pardoned by the former governor of Kentucky. Pardoned. And he had a laundry list of felonies for drug trafficking and trafficking specifically. 20 years. He comes out of prison and he goes into Addiction Recovery Care program ran by Tim Robinson, the owner, the CEO and founder. And then he becomes a part of the company as an employee because he graduates and he's recovering, all kind of stuff. He becomes a pastor and everything like that. And then he gets pardoned by the governor, who was friends with the district attorney or the attorney general at the time. I believe his name was Russell Coleman. Russell Coleman. Okay. So the connections, corruption always have connections. You got to corroborate. You got to have somebody to corroborate with you. All right, man. So we was here, we did this, we did this, we did that. We didn't do this, we did this. You know, you gotta have someone that's gonna be in cahoots. And I'm telling you, this is super crazy. Super crazy. And the thing about it is that the fact that these people try to portray themselves to be holier than thou, high and mighty, try to muddy the waters. You can't come out of the mud clean, man.
like Ty, when you were being abused by Kevin and others, I mean, did you see cameras come out? Were there photos? Were there videos and stuff like that?
No, there's cameras in the courthouse, but like they don't always work. Certain places work, certain places don't.
No, I bet.
Like
Oh, well, that
I was
brings up
saying from the very, very beginning, though, like when all this shit came out, I was like, oh my gosh, that means they're going to go back and look at cameras. I wonder if they're going to find anything else. And turns out there are video, but I don't know where it's at. I don't know who has it. There is inside courthouse footage, though.
Chad Brown has some video, but from what we understand about that whole situation, he went straight and got him a lawyer. And when the investigators went trying to ask him for it, he was trying to get a deal for himself on his big time drug charges. And they said, no deal. And he said, well, then bye-bye. I ain't got no video. And they never pushed harder. They never tried to get it.
They probably don't want it.
Nope.
They probably are like, no, let's not go down this road. I don't know. You and me, Elizabeth, we need to figure out what we should work together on that. See if we can bait a little bit and get people to give up the goods so that the evidence is there. That's, man, real quick. Let's go to a couple. Man, we've been going 42 minutes already. Let me go to a couple of.
All right, he's going through some super chats on his. But what do you all think so far of this? You know, what do you all think so far of this? Like, this is pretty intense stuff here, man. And again, shout out to Ty Adams, man. Real talk. To be able to talk about this, to be able to talk about this on a level, like a straight shooter level like this, is absolutely just like, because Elizabeth Jones, the lady in the middle, this is hillbilly crime right here. She lives in Letcher County. She's been on court TV with Vinnie Politan a bunch of times when it comes to this case. And her channel has been growing, but she has been unpacking the corruption in Letcher County. She knows way more. She's been in the system, and also she lives there. She understands who those judges are, who those prosecutors are, and everything. And I'm telling you right now that with her knowledge of what she knows and what she's been exposing, people have threatened hillbilly crime. She was recently in the newspaper and about a dog altercation, just silly stuff, things of that nature, where she's getting phone calls and people saying certain things or whatever the case may be with that, and giving off a threatening tone towards her. But she continues to speak up. And I mean, come on now, everybody's saying the same thing, basically. Sabrina Atkins said it. When Jennifer Hill was alive, she said it. Let her friend, Taya's friend Lexi, and also Lexi Bentley, and also Taya herself. Hillbilly crime has been through the same thing. And also, this is a testament of saying, look, there are some ladies who have been through certain things for real. This is the reason why you can't play around when it comes to accusing somebody of something like this. You got to dot your I's and cross your T's, because you are going to be held to a standard that is corrupt. You're going to have to beat that corruption. At some point, you're going to have to beat that corruption. And you're not going to be able to do it with emotion. You're not going to be able to do it with just feelings. You're going to have to add to that. You're going to have to stack it. When, what, when, where, why, how. Like, get those questions answered with evidence, hardcore evidence, facts, so that way you can have something to hold up in court. Because as you can see, trying to get something held up in a court system like that down there, you won't be able to. You won't be able to. If they're going to act this way on this level, you could just imagine on a smaller level how they're going to act. Come on now. Come on now. You can it ain't going. You're gonna have more. Hey, listen, Tracy talks. Come on now, talk to me. You're gonna have to do more than just shed some tears. You have to square up. When it comes to this kind of stuff, that's why Gavin Fish is really harping on I want tangible. I want something to get them up out of there permanently. I don't want to band-aid this. We need to get them out of there. One by one. One by one. Tears is not going to do it. Tears is not enough. Listen, we need to back it up with something heavy, so that way we can put the artillery down and we can go into court knowing that we got something solid, and we're going to get rid of these dudes. Because the traumatic responses is real. Think about your own trauma and how you were responding to things after that trauma happened to you. If you ever been in a car accident, let's not even talk about this type of nastiness here. Let's just go with a car accident where you was in an accident and you spun out of control. Even that kind of trauma can cause you to feel a certain way. But when something is happening to you and you know that it's been happening for a long time, and you know that the strain is on you because who you're dealing with got all the power, all the cards are stacked against you. Now you finally out of it. You're like, okay, how can I bring this down? Well, you can't do it emotionally, because obviously they don't care about your emotions down there. So what you're gonna have to do? Drop it like it's hot. What's that? Facts. Drop the facts down like it's hot. That's what you got to do. That's what we have to do. Even in all instances, that's what we got to do. We got to drop it like it's hot with the facts. Okay. I'm going to get to, let's go ahead and actually continue to look at this, because let's see what the audience is saying.
Let's go to a couple. Man, we've been going 42 minutes already. Let me go to a couple of comments here. JoJo says, please tell Ty we appreciate her language
exactly.
Out. We
Ridiculous.
do indeed.
Thank you.
Let's see. Justice WG7 says, howdy, Ty, Elizabeth, and Fish. So happy people are coming forward and that you're finding your voice and support system. Exposure is imminent. Keep going. Yeah, what you're doing right now, it's pretty freaking heroic.
She's on parole till 2099.
You're on parole until 2099.
She
Yes,
was
you can
sent
get
to
on the Kentucky online offender site.
Here it is. We got it. Here it is right here. Kablooski. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable.
It's KOOL.gov. I said it wrong the other day.
She
.gov,
was sent.
and I'm on parole till 29.
She was sent to prison for selling, or well, they got her for 1 Suboxone strip. Now that's the medicine that I take every single day. I take 2 a day every single day, and I have for the last 15 years. And you know, those are the kinds of things that were happening back then. They were coming after anybody who was in medically assisted treatment. You know, and a lot of people couldn't afford the $400 a month cash that it costs to go see a doctor. It was cheaper to buy it off the street.
And multiple times, there's been a couple of times I was court ordered to take the Suboxone. They're the ones that got me on the Suboxone to begin with. Whenever they sent me to detox when my mom died when I was 20.
Whoa. Wait. She didn't say that on the videos we saw earlier. There were times where you were court ordered to take it, and they still tried to, and they got you for the fight. Man, all right.
Left there on Suboxone.
That's crazy, man.
Hey,
And then whenever I came out, it sent me to rehab for a year. I did a year in rehab, did 6 months aftercare, straightened up for a number of years.
That's the year and 6 months that we
took
saw.
My baby because of Suboxone. They wouldn't let me leave the hospital with her. They said because she had Suboxone in her system, I couldn't take her home. Said my prescription wasn't valid because that clinic that I had went to the whole time I was pregnant closed at the end of my pregnancy. I still had pills from my previous prescription. I hadn't even finished the prescription yet, and they wouldn't let me take my baby home.
Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. This question is, what does Taya think about the Stines case? Elizabeth, you and I talked about this on Monday.
Here we go.
Taya, what do you think?
No.
What do you think is happening there? Why did Mickey go in and shoot
I hate
Kevin?
that it happened this way, but I'm grateful for it too.
We say that again. I talked to him.
I said I hate that it happened that way, and I hate that families are hurt from it. But I'm grateful that he did, and Mickey's my hero. I don't think he deserves.
What did I tell you? If I tell you, what did I tell you, man? She just said Mickey is my hero. She's glad he did it. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I can't even get my production right, dog. She's glad that he did it. She's happy. She hates the pain that it caused the families, but she said, I'm glad that he even did it. Mickey is my hero.
Or hurt from it.
We say that again. I talked to him.
I said I hate that it happened that way, and I hate that families are hurt from it. But I'm grateful that he did, and Mickey's my hero. I don't think he deserves to be sitting in that jail cell.
Maybe that's the reason they want the trial in Letcher County. I bet there are a lot of people who feel the same way. Let's see. I'm going to skip over a couple things because a lot of people are saying the same things. But words bloom. I hope these ladies are taking measures to protect themselves because certain people might want to silence them. I hope you both are.
They do.
Good. Let me.
That devil ain't no match for our God, though, honey.
Michelle Mangum says the FBI needs to be involved. The problem with that, Michelle, is that none of this is federal. None of it.
And even if it was, all the feds here are high. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, it's high profile, but it ain't exactly.
Crackhead fed down the road
all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Kevin, they say this has been happening before Mullins. Is it still happening after? What a great question. Now that Kevin Mullins has been shot dead.
Good question.
Apparently, I suspect because Mickey probably felt like that was the right thing to do. Do you think it's still happening? Who is Judge Mullins' replacement?
Now, Judge Mullins' replacement is Nick Whitaker. And now Nick he has been in the legal system for a long time. He worked as a probation officer. He worked in the PVA office. But now I know Nick personally. I know his wife.
I've heard that he was good.
He is. I know her family.
Yeah.
I have never, I've been around here 20 years, and I have never heard the first rumor of anything bad on Nick Whitaker.
Me either.
He just recently got his law license a few years ago. He was kind of older when he went to law school. And as soon as he had friends, where he had worked there before, but they hired him on as an assistant county attorney. and he was appointed as Mullins's replacement over everybody else. And so that gave me hope, that they were purposefully putting someone in there that was not, that does not have that reputation.
Who made that appointment?
I think it was the governor.
Andy Bashir.
Mm.
Ooh.
But Nick's a good person. He's got a moral compass. And so that's what we need on a bench.
DC28 says, what does Taya think about the judge, how the judge was acting before Mickey shot him? Have you seen those videos, Taya?
Yeah, I couldn't really make anything out of it, to be honest. I have
Okay.
no idea. I have no idea.
RJG, does Taya know who made and kept the videos?
It was the courthouse surveillance videos. I don't know who kept them, is the thing. It's the courthouse cameras.
That actually, so I was always under the impression, Elizabeth, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was always under the impression that Kevin Mullins had a camera in his chambers because of the Ben Fields thing. And I mean, it's unheard of for a judge to have a camera in their private chamber.
It is unheard of.
But now I'm wondering, does it even matter if he had a camera in his chamber? If this was all happening all over the courthouse, places where cameras were, maybe they didn't even care.
So let me tell you, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing.
Okay, lay it on us. I'm braced.
So I spoke with someone who knows that courthouse very well, and they said they were very upset when I talked to them, and they said that video that they keep showing on TV of his chambers, she said, that's not his chambers. She said that was not the room that I was R'd in. She said the room that I was R'd in had a wooden desk. She said, didn't you think the first time you saw that video that was an awful pathetic judge's chambers? And I was like, well,
you know what? God, dog. God, see, good Lord have mercy. Oh, you know what? Now that she's saying this, that's a fact. I was thinking to myself, like, who smokes cigarettes in their chambers for real? And most of the time, a judge's chambers, I mean, I know it's a country town, but still, the judge's chambers be lit. Like, it'd be a couch over here, it'd be a library desk, it'd be all kind of stuff. And then I had to think about, now that she's saying this, I'm thinking about this too. If that's the judge's chambers and he's conducting any type of lawful business, where is the stenographer going to sit when he or she has to create transcript for what's going on? That's the smoking room. There you go. Starfish and coffee. Shout out to Starfish. That's the smoking room. That's the chill room. That's the chill room. That makes so much sense right now. Let's go.
Yeah, actually I did. I said the very first time I saw the video when it was dropped.
That little front section, ain't that where this receptionist used to sit, in that front part where that quilt and stuff is, where that desk is?
Well, there's another room outside of that's where the receptionist sat. I thought, and so this girl asked, she said, wouldn't that have been the jury room? She said the one that has the quilt, the one that he was pew-pewed in. She said, wouldn't that have been the jury room? Because then the other one was the smoking room. And I know the smoking room, the jury never sat in there,
Mm-hmm.
And that made a lot of sense. But she was very upset. And she kept saying, why are they lying? Why are they lying? That is not the judge's chambers. So then it got me thinking. And I thought, well, it wouldn't be really difficult to just tell AOC after Ben pled guilty. The AOC, which is the administration of the courts, I think is, they came in and put a camera up because of the Ben Field stuff. And I think that was just them trying to, cover their butts, really. But I'm just hypothesizing here. But what if the judge said, yeah, this is my chambers. You can just stick it right up there in that corner. And then he does some work there. But what if he's got another office? I mean, I don't know if he does or not, but one of the women who says that they have been abused in that courthouse said that was not his chambers, and that was not the room that she was R'd in, and it had a real nice wooden desk. It was really, it looked like a judge's chambers. She said, I remember because I put my feet up on it. She said, I sat back in that real fancy chair and I put my feet up on that wooden desk.
Well, didn't Sabrina Hill in
I know.
her proffer talk about that quilt? She knew what the judge's chamber looked like because of a quilt, and I
Yeah.
assumed it was that quilt. So maybe it's just a matter of taking down the quilt out of the judge's chambers and putting it in that room, calling it his chambers or something.
I'm not exactly. I don't remember exactly what question Sabrina Atkins was answering on that. I'd have to go back and
I would
listen to
too.
the interview again and see what she was actually talking about. But like Taya said, she had done it all over that courthouse. And Ben, in his plea, he admitted to having sex in the bathroom, in the judge's chambers,
In a
the
stairwell or something. Oh, elevator, yeah.
So, they were doing it all over the place. Putting one camera up in one room, what good was that going to do?
Yeah. Hey, Taya, this question you don't need to answer unless you're comfortable, but she says, was Taya's sister used too? Did she know what was happening? I don't want you to put
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. She was a lot older than me. So
18 years older than you.
and I never ran across her at any of these places or anything like that. Like as far as I knew, I knew what I was doing was being kept secret from her.
Cindy
So,
Lou Hoot
So
says
I
it
don't
sounds
know
like
if
Mickey did the work.
I have no idea.
It says Mickey took out the devil is what Cindy Lou Hoot thinks. Yeah. Lots of things to talk about. I don't know. Any final thoughts before we call it? We've been going about an hour.
Look here. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Somebody just said that it sounds like Mickey took out the devil. This is crazy, man. This is, again, I'm glad that we talked about this. I'm glad that we talked about this because this is the corruption. This is another level that is crazy, crazy work when it comes to the corruption. Mickey Stines, in that woman's eyes, Taya Adams, who not only told the truth, but we was able to find the truth. Okay. We was able to find the truth. Okay. We was able to find it to just bring actual confirmation of what she was saying. This is real. that probation date is real. Do you see where it says parole up here? I was about, in my little soliloquy, I was about to say, where is Court TV? Where is Law and Crime now? No one is talking about this. This is why I need you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is why I need you to share this. No one wants to talk about this. This is why I went out on the limb and also started doing live on X. And shout out to my people from X right now. Y'all holding it down. It's a small, I got a small little, you know what I'm saying? I got a small little X account, man, but I got 38 watching. I'm proud of the 38 right now. You know what I'm saying? Thank you all for watching. Even if you're not saying nothing, even if you're not commenting, thank you for watching. To my YouTube, to Biz Nation, always holding it down. Thank you also for watching. Y'all get the clues bombs, dog. You know what I'm saying? When you're part of Biz Nation, you get the clues bombs. That says parole. That says parole, and that says $20.99. And that is on record. If somebody pull up her record, they're going to see that she's on probation until 2099. That is absolutely bananas. It makes absolutely no sense. And she's a straight shooter too, which I love. I love the fact that she's a straight shooter. I love it. Because you can't hide. Her aim is correct. Her aim is correct. Her aim is headed in the proper direction. Her aim is where it should be. And when she said, look, I know that, and that's the reason why she wasn't like hell bent and pressed about talking about Kevin Mullins the whole entire time. She's like, look, it's something going on way deeper than him. And shout out to Mickey Stines for doing what he did. That's what she basically saying. That's what she is basically saying. That's what she's basically saying. She's saying, you know what? I ain't got no problems with Sean Mickey Stines. She thinks he needs to be out of jail. Now, I bet it begs the question. Is vigilante justice warranted? Is there a such thing as vigilante justice? Here in this country, in this judicial system, they frown upon the real street justice. It's frowned upon. Leave it in our hands. Let us do it. Let us investigate it. Let me tell you something. You can investigate all you want. By the time these detectives give the case to these prosecutors, it is so many lazy prosecutors. Just like the YSL trial. Okay, Operation Peanut. All right, bet. What's Operation Peanut? And all these photos and all these dudes and this, that. Okay, the It Gang and this gang and YSL and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. That's it. That's all we need. That's it. We ain't got to do nothing else. And then when you put them on the stand and ask them questions, well, do you know what this is? Do you know what that is? I've never even heard of that before. I don't even know what that is. Blah, blah, blah. Of course you don't. Because you don't care. You took an oath for no reason. You took an oath just to skate. You took an oath just to get mad benefits. That's it. The oath is not even between police and the people. It's between themselves. Do you have some good cops out here? Yes. But sorry, coppers. The bad ones is outweighing y'all right now. The good ones ain't. They want to shut the good ones up. Because all of us know if anything happens to us in the privacy of our own homes, if something happens, we do want the police to get involved. We love to call 911. But man, if somebody come in my crib, you think I'm trying to call 911 right then and there? No, I'm not. I'm not trying to call 911 right then and there. I'm trying to defend my household, my family. And if I have to appear in front of court because I defended my family, that's what I will do. This system is rigged in a certain way that don't involve us. And when you come across someone who actually upholds the law the way it should be upheld, you need to thank God. That's the grace of God on your life. Because as you can see, all they got to do is get somebody in position and pin a 77-year probation period on you. Parole. She's on parole right now. She only 3 years into her 77-year parole sentence. That's it, parole. This is what we're facing. And they are collecting these young ladies down there. I was doing research earlier this year, or earlier this summer, and I was coming across so many different missing women reports, missing women from especially in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2020. It was unbearable. Like, haven't found them yet. Don't know where they at. To this day, down there I'm talking just in Kentucky. Just in Kentucky, man. This is sad, dude. This is super sad. Super crazy, man. Super crazy. Super crazy. Even when you can flip it to, you can talk about This, you could talk about child support. You could talk about landlord stuff. When it comes to real estate, you could talk about it. Bring up any type of case. Any type of case. You're going to find something corrupt in there that's going to lean towards the pockets of your county, your city, your state, or whatever. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's why you got to know your stuff. That's why you got to know your stuff. You got to get books like this. All right. You got to get Black's Law Dictionary. Educate yourself. If you know a lawyer that got free consultation, just ask questions. The consultation is free. Just ask questions. I got 3 questions, Mr. Lawyer, Mrs. Lawyer, and ask some questions. You feel me? For real, for real. I appreciate everybody watching once again. Thank you so much for stopping by Tables TV. This has been a very, very, very interesting live that we done tonight. For content suggestions and reaction videos and things of that nature, go ahead and email your boy taybiztv@gmail.com. If you want to leave yourself anonymous, that is fine. I am all good with that. But if you want me to do any of that, that's fine. Please let it be appropriate as much as it can be. And something that's going to like any type of content that won't get me I'm already demonetized for right now for whatever reason. I have to reinstate my channel, I think next month. However, I'm still going strong. I'm still doing it, man, because it is what it is. Even though I'm demonetized right now, that's fine. We still trying to get the message out, and we're still trying to see what's going on out here, man. And what it looks like all across the board, you know. When we cover stuff from New York, like I said, the prosecutorial misconduct stuff, we covered stuff. I even covered the Kevin Hart and the extortion case and how that went with his homeboy Jonathan. You know, I dropped a video about that too, and it went away quietly. You know, it went away quietly. Stuff like that, you know, is definitely something that we need to tackle. But all in all, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching me on a Friday night. Give yourselves a round of applause. I definitely appreciate you for rocking out with your boy on a Friday night. Yo, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Taybiz TV this is my YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com and /@Taybiz TV, what you see right here. And go ahead and become a part of Biz Nation, man. I appreciate you so much. This your boy Taybiz, and I'm gonna holler at you. Peace.
I brought that with me. Case they get too easy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my daddy. Know how I'm coming. And they know what we hate. Run around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. My young hitter might go in. Uptown GN. Working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out. Cause all of my hitters too deep in. With the boy, I'm so ashamed. Ain't worried about long as my money and my green. Baby, I ain't got work tomorrow. Tell me what the business is. Ain't about no club hop. I'm trying to start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fake. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that Henny fluid. Young middle Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that bleedly before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shorty thick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy,